Five, four, three, two, one.
Good evening,
Good evening,
folks.
Jim.
It's been a long time since we did this, but unfortunately last week I was
You
I
were
was
sick
moving
of
like a 90-year-old. And for that reason, we've got to go straight in to the wheels board because you'll find out why in a moment. So can we have the year board up, please, Mr. Producer?
What, you mean this one?
Yes.
Okay, so we need 2 spins. We need the first spin for the 6th of February.
Next week.
Yeah. 19 dondy 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 don bumpity la lippa da da. Oh, 1991.
It's given us 1991.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, just for, because I forgot to do it the first time, give it a couple of shuffles. So now we need the
The 20th of February, the UK top 10. Is it gonna...
Oh, it's just crept in 10 years earlier, 81.
Well, that's going to be quite interesting because on the 20th of February 1981, I was in hospital. Yeah, that's when I had my first back operation, which I'm now suffering from now. God. Anyway, that's that bit.
Oh, right, because we've got a birthday the day before.
Yes, but we're all right with the dates.
That's rather interesting because the birthday is going to be 71. Trip down memory lane is going to be 81. And wander down the sidewalk is going to be 91.
It's all ones, all to do with the ones.
It's 10 years apart from each one.
Yes, excellent.
Promise you, folks, it wasn't fixed. It wasn't fixed.
That's why we didn't do it and just randomly did it. So that's that bit. So I hope everyone's well. If you see me moving around a bit awkward, I've got a hot water bottle behind my back, which I've had all week. So if you've been watching me and I'm going like that, that's because of that. But we've had sunshine. I haven't had to put the light on. Hi, everybody.
Evening. Good afternoon. Evening, Pulsar, Zeb. Nice to see you all again. Yes.
So I'm only going to do what's happened in the last week. I'm not doing the 14-day thing. So the last week, we've had 5,045 views. Fantastic. 13 new subscribers, even better. And there's actually 13 people watching now, which is a bit creepy. So what have you been watching? Well, number three, the third most popular is The Doors Live. And how's this? The very first video that I ever made is at number 2. 41 people this week watched Status Quo.
That's going to tip it over the mark, isn't it?
It has. And at number 1, it's last week's Battle Royale at 49. Top short is what I put up on Monday. Demons and Wizards, the great album by Uriah Heep at 529. So in the last 28 days, we have had 34,463 views and 80 new subscribers. That just amazes me. Number 3 with 219 views, Status Quo album ranking. I don't believe that. The vinyl tag and friends thing 242, but at the top, and I am so pleased, and I know Pulsar will be, it's the retro ranking from Brad, 344 views.
Yeah, well done.
And top short is Foxtrot with 1,073.
Right.
So the whole channel thing since we started now stands at a massive 594,735 views. Yes, Bread are still there strong, and we have now got 2,476 subscribers, which is brilliant. The top 5.
Oh, did you get in before me?
No.
Yeah. No, you did. Because I can't find it. I've gone to
No, I think someone else has.
yeah, right.
So
in which case, hello, Simon. Thank you.
Yeah. Michael Field is still number 5 with 4356. Number 4, Jethro Tull 4384. Derek Riggs 4457. So them 3 are very close. Then we go up to Slade at number 2, 5,174. But Status Quo has now gone through the 10,000 views mark.
I think you're heading towards 11, are you not?
But no, it's 10,081.
No, it's
So that's pretty good. The shorts. Well, we've taken a one away because it was just doing too much. So we're now going to concentrate on them. Paul Diano's tribute is at 4468. The other one was never going to get beaten. So we've sort of taken it away. What I've been listening to, well, I haven't done a lot, to be quite honest, this week. It's been more about getting the videos out and continuing with R&R under doctor's orders. So Krista Berg, 6 of the 23. Man, 6 of the 16. Now, the Bookshop Band are brilliant. I've really enjoyed listening to them because you've got to know your books, haven't you, in your literature?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the whole thing about. It's the whole ethos of the band.
And I've got to get
their music
the next one spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ildor's Bane?
Well done.
5 of 16.
Perfect.
And I completed the Blur. So that's what's been happening.
Hey, well,
I completed Blur.
Oh yes, yeah. You actually completed it last week.
Did I? I can't remember. It's been a long old time. So it's now time for hatches, matches, and dispatches. I'm just going to disappear for a few moments.
Yeah, you've got. I've already done my bit of admin. It's time for you to.
I've got some admin to do. Yes.
So right, because we haven't been around for a couple of weeks, we've got 9 dispatches, we've got 13 hatches plus 1, and we've got 1 match. So the dispatches, the sad news. On the 16th, Jeffrey Glenn Myers, he was known professionally as Toby Myers, American musician. He was the bassist for Roadmaster and John Cougar Mellencamp. He passed away, unfortunately. On the 20th, the death was announced of John Sykes, the English hard rock guitarist, played with Tigers of Pantang, Thin Lizzy and Whitesnake. The 21st saw the departure of Garth Hudson, Canadian rock multi-instrumentalist. He played with the band. We had a few who passed on the 22nd. Barry Goldberg, American blues and rock keyboardist. He played with the Electric Flag and the Brides. Gabriel Yacoub, a French folk singer with the Celtic group Malicorne. And the death was announced on the 22nd of Johann Slager, Dutch prog rock guitarist with the band Kayak. The 25th, the death was announced of Edwina Banger, British punk rock singer. She used to be in The Nosebleeds and Slaughter and the Dogs. 26th, Gary Greer, American R&B singer with The Contours passed. And unfortunately, this evening, around about 2 hours ago, it was announced that Marianne Faithfull, at the age of 78, English pop and rock singer-songwriter, has passed away. To be sadly missed. Luckily, Iain has already done a retro, but he's got a job to do because her catalogue is somewhere in for Ladies' Night, and it's 21 albums. That's going to be fun. Anyway, those are our dispatches. Our hatches, birthdays. Right, we've got 2 weeks to cover. So, 46 today is Josh Kelly, American pop and country singer-songwriter. 51 last week was Samsa Stala. He's known by various stage names Stala and Kita. He's the lead singer of the Finnish glam rock band Stala and SO. But he's also the former and original drummer for the metal band Lordi. 63 today is William G. Leverty II, known as Bill Leverty, American guitarist. He's a founding member of the hard rock band Firehouse, and he writes many of the band's hit songs. 66 last week was Earl Falconer, British reggae bassist for the UB40. And today is birthday for Jodie Watley, American R&B singer. She used to be in Shalimar. Both of those are 68. 67 today. Sorry, both of those were 66. I can't even read my own writing. 67 today is Rob van Zandvoort, Dutch rock vocalist and keyboardist for the band Jack of Hearts. 71 last week was Richard Finch, American disco and rock bassist, songwriter and producer for KC and the Sunshine Band. 72 last week was Robin Zander, American rock vocalist and guitarist for Cheap Trick. 74 today is an English musician, singer, songwriter, record producer and actor. And he goes by the name of Philip David Charles Collins. We know, Phil Collins, of course. 75 last week was John Greaves, an English musician with the bands Henry Cow, or he was also in National Health, and he's also been in Soft Heap. 76 today is William King, American singer, trumpet player, songwriter, guitarist, percussionist, choreographer, man of many talents. He used to be in the Commodores, still is. 82 today, and the musical grandparent of the day is Sandy Dean, born Yaguda, American rock singer, Jay and the Americans. Now, we've got a +1, but I've also kept the youngest of our birthdays to the end. 34 today is Rebecca Lovell. She's an American singer and guitarist with the band Larkin Poe. Now, if you don't know Larkin Poe, they started out as the Lovell sisters, 3 girls, Rebecca, Megan, and Jessica. They were an acoustic music trio formed in 2005. They released some independent albums and toured for 4 years, but then they disbanded in 2010 whenever Jessica left. Later that year, Rebecca and her sister Megan regrouped as Larkin Poe. And the reason we're giving you this spiel is because they're taking the band name from their great-great-great-great-grandfather, who was a cousin of Edgar Allan Poe, the writer. We thought you'd enjoy that little bit of trivia. And then the +1. Well, if there's somebody special, we do like to include them occasionally. And tonight, he is the granddaddy of them all. It's 95-year-old Gene Hackman, American actor, famous for Bonnie and Clyde, The Conversation, The Connection, The Birdcage, The Runaway Jury, we actually watched the other night. So there's our hatches. Our matches, marriages through the decades. There's only been one in the last 2 weeks of any note. And back in 1906, the composer Igor Stravinsky married Ekaterina Noshenko. So there's your hatches, matches, and dispatches. Iain is back.
He is.
I would imagine very gingerly, because I didn't hear Rocky. So he hasn't been to the front door, has he?
He has.
Oh, right. And you've done your admin because I can see I can see something has arrived.
Yeah, I've done my thing.
So I should save that and lose that. Right. No beer. Yes, no beer. No. Yeah, Pulsar. It was only announced literally 2 hours ago about Marianne. He's waiting a 27 CD box set for Stravinsky.
Oh,
Dave's at it again. Like a baby when Brian Jones died. He was 3 months old. He says he's not lying. 27 CD box set of Stravinsky's work. That'll be fun. Okay, it's time for you to have a rabbit about what's on next week, isn't it?
okay, I can do that.
Okay, so let's put that on there and we'll tell it to go.
And we are. I can't believe we're almost in February already.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the start of February.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why in a minute.
So, Monday, we're going to look at Crazy Horse.
Of which you were a founding member, no doubt.
Oh, yes. Simon, this was Simon's idea to put me standing with the band. And I think it's quite fun. And this is Crazy Horse without a certain Perfect Side next week is a fantastic album from Iain. Automatic for the People. So I'm looking forward to that one because that is a fab album. So Tuesday, I know a couple of people will be raring this one, The Cramps. One of Nick, Smile and Butchie's favourites. And Mike likes them as well, I know. Yes, a great picture, I know, Simon. It's a doody one. I'm even in that one. And this one's going a bit off. It's quite a thing. We've had this. Someone once mentioned the Nolans many years ago. And I thought, okay, we'll do something if any of them passes. And unfortunately, Linda Nolan died. So I've gone through a painstaking thing for your entertainment. Some Nolan songs, which I did a long time ago because I can't do more than 3 at a time. So I've put together 10 songs, and that's all I've got. No bubbling unders.
You know what? I'm going to add Bewitched to the list just for that.
Oh, no, stop it. Yeah, Nick will like the Cramps. I do as well.
Yep.
So Wednesday, we've got a start of a new story.
Have you? Oh, there you go.
So there we go. You get Crazy Horse on Monday, but on Wednesday, we're going to do part 1 of Neil Young. And we're going to be looking at everything that Neil Young's done. We're going to start off with Neil Young and Crazy Horse. That's quite a recent picture of them. I don't know what they're doing, catching flies or... Good old Neil. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It looks like, Neil looks like he's waiting for a bus to park, you know. And then on Thursday, we've got a bit of a thing. And as you can see, hot off the press, I wandered down the sidewalk. And we've got the review of the round of 16. At the moment, it's Iain and Dave, but that may change. But Dave will explain that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil has got a lot of albums.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
yes.
why we're doing it as a story. So we can get everything in. And then on a Friday, we've got some Beach Boys albums, live albums, which I know Simon is a big fan of. And then tomorrow, we've got a new album coming out from the Manic Street Preachers, Critical Thinking. Now, this is not for the following Sunday, but this Sunday, postponed from last week because I was poorly, where you'll be able to finally see what Richard, myself, and Simon have done up, what should have been at number one in the 60s. Yeah, William. Yeah, I know that, but I'm not doing that. Yeah, I know you love Neil Young as well, Simon. So I think that'll be a popular one doing Neil Young. So that's the first time ever I've made a thumbnail on live stream. But that's what is happening next week.
Oops.
Ooh,
How do you manage that?
I don't know.
There you go.
Whoops. There we go.
Yeah, no, the Barnes & Noble's exclusive we can't get hold of, so they're not being included.
Yes. Right, I've done Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Already done that, and Buffalo Springfield, because we did Crosby, Nash and Young when I did David Crosby. So it was just sort of starting to tidy it up. We got Neil Young, and then I'll do some Graham Nash, and then I'll be doing some Stephen Stills. So thing. Anyway, let's get on to Battle Royale. Because there's a couple of results, isn't there? And then there's something we want. I know Dave wants to thank someone for pointing something out, and there's a bit of a story to it as well.
Yes, right. I've got.
Yes, it's it was quite a nice story as well, and
yeah,
one of our observant subscribers was very observant.
So let's have a look. I need to go home because that's this week. Okay, I am going to show this one and present, share screen.
Yeah, going back to the Barnes and Noble, unfortunately, I can't get hold of them, so I can't listen to them. If I do, we will do something.
Yeah, we could have got some whenever we visited Boston. Oh my God, it's over 20 years ago. Because there was a Barnes and Noble, we could have gone in and picked up some stuff, but we didn't think of it at the time. Anyway, so 2 weeks ago, there would have been a result: Gladys Knight versus the Who, and as you can see, Gladys Knight won by a country mile. Now, our thanks go out to two people. Charles got in touch with us and said, "Excuse me, lads, did you know that you can vote more than once? Because normally it's one vote per ISP, which means if you and your partner or whoever are living in the same house and one of you votes, the other one has to go next door and borrow their ISP. However, people, very nice people, I have to say, at Straw Poll, who designed this website, they did an upgrade. And whenever they did their upgrade, they didn't spot that there was a bug, which meant that it wasn't checking for ISP addresses. So there were an awful lot of votes coming in, and Iain and I looked and thought, a little bit suspicious this. Why are we getting so many votes? Is somebody piling them on? And then we got the note from Charles. So I got in touch with Straw Poll. And a very nice gentleman at Straw Poll by the name of Gregor got in touch and said, "Oh, you've discovered a bug. We've applied a hot fix, but because you discovered and reported it, we're going to make your account into a pro account. So none of you guys from now on will see adverts whenever you go to vote." So thank you, Charles, for pointing out that you could do what you were able to do. Thank you to Gregor for the free upgrade in account status. And as you can see, Gregor also asked, he said, there are a small number of duplicate ISPs. Do you want them removed? I said, yes, please. But these are all unique ISP votes. 32 went to Gladys Knight, 12 went to The Who, so Gladys Knight and the Pips go through. Whoop-de-hoo. And then last week's poll, tonight's result, as you can see down here, 1 vote per IP address allowed once a week. We made that change whenever Charles initially pointed out that people could vote more than once. We changed the settings. But
another shot.
Yes, new order go through 7 votes to 5. And believe it or not, the majority of new order votes came from the United States.
Yeah, 2 upsets in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
how's tonight's going?
Tonight, there have been 4 votes. And it's 3-1 to Deep Purple. So you've got 6 days, 3 hours to go and vote. Decide which of these is the better, Black Knight or Won't Get Fooled Again. Personally, I plump for Black Knight because it's one of the songs I have on my shower playlist. So no more news about that. Yeah. And the other thing, oh my God, Seb. What? Kebnekaise?
Yeah, well, I've wrote that down, but you've seen it now. Well, that'll be added.
Oh, hang on. Christopher says skip Kebnekaise, overrated Swedish folk music, world music.
Yes, anyway. For those of you who know why we didn't have a live stream last week, it won't be skipped. I don't skip anything, you know me. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know that I've had 2 operations on my back. And when it gets cold and damp, for some reason, my body's nature is to protect the wound. And what it does, all the muscles around my spine at the bottom go into spasm. They tighten up so that every time I even go like that, it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's that.
So that's why I have been missing.
Right. The other thing is on Sunday, I'm going into hospital for surgery. I'm having a skin cancer removed. So updates to the database of shows that have been done, etc., may not occur for a day or 2. And this is the reason why next Thursday, Iain and I should be doing a review of round 2. I might not be able to do it. So we need to have a conversation with one of our panelists to see if one of them would be willing to step in if I can't do it. That's all right, Simon. It's the legacy from a youth spent in the sun. It should be. It's just a small growth. It's base.
Well, I've seen it. Well, it's no bigger than that, is it?
It's about the size of your thumbnail.
Yeah, it's not that big. He's had it done before. So.
Oh yeah, I've got a bloody hole in my head. I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've had about 7 removed so far. Anyway, right. So that's that.
So if anyone wants to come up now, you can.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I shall have a look at Kebnekaise.
I will. I've never even heard of her.
Okay.
Good evening, Andy.
Don't skip. Okay, let's go Ava.
So I haven't listened to anything. I have had some BCLT, but I can't. I've put it away, and I can't even get at it at the moment because I can't get down on the floor to it. So I had some from Nick. He brought me some hot press from the place in Northampton. On his way back to Corby, he dropped in and brought me a couple of Steel Eye Span albums. One, We Are Six and Live at Last, and also in the post. Good evening, Mike. And in the post, which was really nice. It couldn't have happened on a better day because I was feeling a bit down. Hurt. My back's hurting again, and your excuse. So, but no, after he's having a go, he's having a dig. Simon did send me some more Joan Baez. He sent me Volume 2 and Volume 5 albums, which are absolutely beautiful, and a couple of EPs as well. So I've enjoyed listening to them, and then I put them away, and now I can't get them out to show you. Because they're on the lower, they're in where they are. I can't get down on my hands and knees at the moment.
Right. Well, if you do get down on your hands and knees, you won't get up again.
This is it.
Just looking here at Kebnekaise.
Yes.
It's also the name of Sweden's highest mountain, which is where they got their name. But the band categorized itself as prog rock back in the 70s. But at the time in Sweden, progressiveness was political rather than a musical concept.
Ooh. Oh, well, we'll see what that. Anyway,
Could be interesting.
How are you, Michael?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Ohio gozaimasu.
Ohio gozaimasu.
Oh, sorry, I'm just readjusting the hot water bottle.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that I can chat. I can join the chat. Yes. Okay. I was never able to do that before. Now I understand. Today, after years being on StreamYard, I finally see that I can have a chat and type in the chat, which I never did. So people must have thought I was ignoring them.
Yeah, well, in StreamYard, no. You have to do it in private, but it's on the YouTube channel. Yes, chat away.
I've linked my YouTube channel, my YouTube account to StreamYard, and so I can type. See?
Oh, good.
See that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You
Huh?
You learn something even at our age. We all learn something.
Yes. But I decided to come up early because you guys were just going on about your medical ailments. And I was getting nauseous. Nauseous.
I've done the what's new with me. We'll come round and do what's new with you in a minute.
Sure.
Well, I mean, a lot's happened since we last spoke in the VC, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
A lot of abdications.
Yes,
and sad news. I don't think you'll have heard. It was just over 2 hours ago. It was announced Marianne Faithfull has passed.
Yes, I know. I saw that. Yeah.
Very sad.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, I don't know if you just heard that Simon sent me a couple of Joan Baez albums last week. Volume 2,
very nice.
Volume 5. Absolutely lovely.
I didn't figure him to be a Joan Baez fan.
No, he said he got them for me because he knows I am.
That's so nice.
Yeah, that's what the vinyl community is all about, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
T'other way, Michael.
What's that?
T'other way. Yes.
T'other way. Pointy.
If I do that, you can do that. That's
there
it.
You go.
Yeah. Oh, you can't look at this. This man's so good. Look.
Wow.
he's, I appreciate it. And I know, I mean, I think Nick's was lovely. He goes to the Vintage Retreat in Northampton, rings me up, and have you got these? No. And on his way back to Corby, he drops them in.
Ah,
Don't need a postman. He just pops them in, knocks the door, and gives you them. I've really enjoyed that. I've listened to that live album, Live at Last. It's not got any some of their earlier stuff. It's a fantastic album.
And the artist is who?
Steel Eye Span.
Ah. And Nick lives miles from you, or what proximity is he?
About 30 miles. And that, and I know, and this is which I will get when I go up to Leeds next. So
let's pop him up. Let's pop him up. There he is.
Yeah, there you go.
Bye-bye.
Very nice.
Yes, and it's the gatefold you informed me.
It is, yeah, with the book.
Oh, that's fantastic! I shall look forward to just looking at that. When you put
it's perfectly, and so there you go.
Yeah, do you remember that? When
sorry, Ian.
Yeah.
Can you pause? Whoever it is that's coming up with all these different names, Vindaloo sent me to the loo, and all the rest. I'm sorry, excuse my language. Bugger off.
I hope they make a joke. Oh yeah, Funko Pop. That'll be interesting. Yeah, let's go back when we used to buy albums, right? And you put it on for the first time.
Yes.
First thing you did was go through the cover, wasn't it? And look at the pictures, and they don't do that now, can you? I mean, these kids at stream, what do? Look at nothing. CDs, it's what the?
Yeah, CDs are a challenge, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, my eyesight's not the best.
Small.
Yeah. But I remember when I brought War of the Worlds, I was just that book you get with War of the Worlds, all them wonderful pictures in. It's just fantastic. So,
yes, I have a bone to pick with you about that.
What?
Whenever you did the video,
do
you remember? And you were talking about the various bits of music, and you said Thunderchild sailing off into the distance. Thunderchild was destroyed. Thunderchild rammed into the Martians and was blown to pieces. She saved the steamer, which sailed away with the narrator's girlfriend.
Oh, well.
Smacky wrist. Smack, smack. Anyway.
So what's new with you, Michael?
Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking.
It's an in joke, all right? It's an in joke.
You didn't see that coming, Michael, did you?
I had quite a busy week. On Monday, I went to Nishi Shinjuku, and I shot at 3 different stores. And the first one I'm going to release tonight, which is at a place called Ned's. And he is the I hate this word, the guru of noise and electronic music in Japan. He's been at it. He opened his store in 1985.
Oh, right, 40 years ago.
Yeah. And it's all in Japanese, so you'll have to turn on closed caption to your language. But it was quite a feat, and I sent it to him for approval. He's not thrilled, but he said, "Go with it." I think I asked him a lot of historical questions, and he wasn't prepared for that. So, the part about how he first got started, I removed. But he's got pictures of Genesis P. Orridge of Throbbing Gristle, like old Polaroids, which he pulled out and showed me. I mean, he was a mail order guy. So he was typing his own catalogs and doing like mail back and forth with people to get records sent to Japan. Anyhow, and I went to Dub Store, which is all reggae, the largest one. So that finishes all the reggae stores in Tokyo. I'm like you, Ian. I'm like grinding these things out. And my last store, Shame Records, which my good friend Nadine is looking at now because it's very, very long. The thing about Shame is they were playing Tower of Power and James Brown and all these great soul songs. So it's got a great soundtrack, but it's got copyright strikes throughout. YouTube will let me post it, but c'est la vie.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get hammered on the copyright, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just the few shekels that I'd ever get for this video will go to the owners of the music. You know, the 25 cents will go to them, which is fine. So yeah, that's what's new with me. It was, but the noise store was a huge job for me because I had to use AI to translate it to English and then go through it. My wife helped me a little bit, but it was a big breakthrough for me because, you know, I'm managing a Japanese interview. So exciting times. Thank you.
Well, that's something. I mean, people say, you know, you're never too old to learn, and you're not. And that's proof of the pudding, isn't it? Yeah. You've worked something.
There's some amazing tools out there where you can just like take audio, upload it, and then get a transcript in your language with timestamps, and so you know where you are in the dialogue. You just kind of like match it up without understanding exactly what he's saying, huh?
I'm wary of some AI. I mean, one of the things that's annoyed me recently, and Iain has got it as well, I think we've all got it, is Microsoft's insistence on forcing Copilot onto users of Microsoft 365, the Office program. Whether you like it or not, Copilot is now part of that. You can turn it off, but you have to turn it off individually in each application. I don't want Copilot. Go away. Give me a switch.
I don't
just
use
turn it
Copilot.
off.
I hate it. I use. I don't need anything like that. I mean, my video program has got a great AI thing for taking a black and white picture and colorizing it. I don't mind that. That works. And there's some pictures, you know, you get some old 60s pictures that look a bit fuzzy around the edges. They've got an AI sharpen, which really works on some of the one I've done with thumbnails, especially that Crazy Horse one, you know, the black and white one. That was not a very good picture because there's not many pictures of them without Neil. So I brought that into the program, and I thought, let's see what happens. So I hit it. Am I calling Michael old? No, I'm calling also of an older generation embracing technology.
Yeah, I mean, I teach a Silver Surfer class.
He's not on a surfboard, by the way.
No, I had an 82-year-old lady arrive in with a Christmas present from her daughter. She's been given her first smartphone. How the hell do I use it? She said. So we sat for an hour and a half learning how to turn it on, turn it off, and how to send. She sent her first messages on WhatsApp. She's well chuffed. So she can do basic things. So she's quite happy, but she's coming back for more lessons. So 82. Yeah.
Mike, what's new with you?
But what?
He didn't see that one coming. The question was, what's new with you, Mike?
What I use?
No, what's new with you?
What's news with me? Sorry, you know, for hearing aid. Right. Well, you know, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. You know, the sort of really pleased that sort of on average now the VC is a much nicer place.
Yes.
In the last week or so. You know. So yeah, you know, I've been doing this and that, but not an awful lot sort of going on at the moment. Had Record Fair, about 2 weeks ago now. and that was really good as usual. So where I picked up that Steel Eye Span album. Yeah. So yeah.
So many tags going around. I mean, it's for some reason January has just been exponential in terms of the variety of tags.
Yeah, there's absolutely loads, aren't there? And you tend to get dragged in, and I mean, there's one or two that I've done that are sort of, you know, because I think they're quite good. I mean, the trouble is some tags are quite sort of lazy, and there are people that kind of do them habitually, and it's just, well, what, you know, why are you asking us this? What, you know, what is so interesting about that? But every now and then, they get quite interesting, and the one that I really liked was Brian, Embryonic Robot, did what he called the difficult vinyl tag.
He initiated it.
Yeah. So basically, it was questions that were, some of them were nigh on impossible to answer.
Oh, I'll have to watch it.
You know, others, you know, some of them just depended on sort of like circumstances. I mean, for instance, one of the questions was show an album of a live gig where you were in the audience. Well, you know, you either were or you weren't.
Right.
You know, but he allowed people to, you know, to amend the questions, to substitute their own questions. But you know, it was quite good fun to do. But I said to Brian that I thought that rather than being a tag, it was more of sort of a psychological experiment on his part, just to see, you know, how strong the Pavlovian response is in the VC to the word tag. And it seems to be pretty strong because quite a few people have done this now.
Yeah.
So yes, so I did that one, and then there's a world vinyl tag.
I saw that.
Steve Carlson did.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad, you know. And again, you know, quite a few people have done it. But there are others. Now, you know, I'm really into punk. Well, yes. you know that Tommy Vinyl from Finland.
Yeah.
Great channel. I mean, if you've not watched Tommy, you know, he's absolutely brilliant. I mean, sometimes he does his videos in Finnish, but quite honestly, it doesn't really make a great deal of difference from the point of view of actually enjoying it. But he did the punk vinyl tag, and he was coming up with all sorts of different genres of punk that I just never ever heard of.
So many what of punk genres or
subgenres.
Give me some examples. How did he divide them up?
Things like there's a question like sort of show a straight edge punk band.
No.
So I had to Google that.
Right.
And it turns out those are the ones that aren't into drugs and drink.
Straight edge.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and there's all sorts, and I can't remember what they all were. But I think what it is that in Scandinavia there are these sort of different subgenres of punk that people recognise. And one of the other questions was show a record where there's a song that's critical about Vladimir Putin. Well, really, you know, but people have done it, and I was meaning to have a go and sort of like maybe just sort of substitute and stuff, but yeah. I mean, tags are quite good fun, and it saves you the trouble, doesn't it, of thinking of your own content.
I mean, we do tags here, right? Yeah, I mean, when it's a round robin of 10s, the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's all good fun. You know, of course, Michael. The best videos are the ones when people go crate digging in record stores.
Oh,
Yeah. Even though you know that they're not actually buying anything. Because that's where your videos are different from other people's. Like everybody else, I mean, Steve Carlson does it a lot. He shows you around a record shop, and then you get the second half of the video. This is what I want. And you don't get the second half from with you, Michael. Just the record store, but you get the interviews.
We call it window shopping, Michael.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. Yeah.
You know that in Japan, you know, the wife is the bank, and she gives the husband an allowance. That's how it works here.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how they stay, you know, on track with their finances. Because if he didn't, he'd probably, you know, drink it.
Yeah, we all. I think we all. Us three know who that is, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could church happy about. Yeah.
Yeah. The old an old carrier bag would never let you down.
No.
To paraphrase.
I've got my. I mean, when I come up, I've got my posh record fair, Leeds record fair bag now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I've got something to put me goodies in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go back to the punk genres. I think it's the same in rock and metal. There are so, I go, you know, like new metal. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, you have to go and look it up. I mean, the one that really got on my goat in the 80s was hair metal.
Oh yeah, it's not the American bands.
Yeah, you like Poison, Umbrella with the hair out here, but they're glam. It's glam metal. It's not hair metal. There's no such thing as hair metal.
Yeah, I mean that's it. There's a thing, and I'm absolutely certain that this wasn't a thing at the time, and sort of it became a genre in retrospect when it was all over. And yeah, so the genre is yacht rock. Yacht rock, and I'm absolutely certain that genre was made up about 10 years after the music that they refer to was sort of not being made anymore. And it seems to be, it's that kind of well-dressed bands, you know, I mean, people like Brian Ferry would sort of fall within that category.
Yeah.
You know, a sharp-dressed man, you know.
Robert would as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a nonsense because it doesn't really describe the music. And it
describes the attitude. It describes the attitude and the
yeah.
He wants to be a dandy. Like he wanted to be seen as a dandy, right?
Yeah.
And also, you know, wearing a dinner jacket or wearing the tuxedo was antithetic to the music that they were performing.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, but but what the point I'm making is I don't think anybody, you know, including the people that were making this stuff, would describe what they were making as yacht rock.
No. Well, that's insulting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yachts weren't around in the 70s.
Well, there we go. Thank you, Dave. Yeah. Yes, I did know. Yeah.
Bizarre, isn't it? I mean,
it was coined 30 years later.
Yeah. And so it makes no sense.
No.
And it was never a subculture of such, as far as I can say.
Jimmy Buffett was, to me, was the quintessential, and I wouldn't even call it yacht rock. It was more island. It was more like island or like good times partying music, party music.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Criss Cross. Yeah. I think that's a
Not
That's a
Seals
good
and
one.
Crofts. Seals and Crofts were a folk band.
But I think he's, you know, he kind of gives that,
Cross, yes.
you know,
he's what
that's
I'd
the
call
look.
easy listening.
That is the look, I think, yeah.
See, I would put Michael Bolton in that sort of thing. He wanted to be a long-haired rocker, but he was too smart to be a rocker. Really. And then he had his haircut, and then he became this smoothie, didn't he?
Well, he was appealing to the ladies.
Yeah.
Right? Ladies. It was ladies appeal rock. It was
I think Seb's got it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oriented rock.
good point.
Yeah, yeah, AOR, yeah. Which again is an awful term, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is because it
Soft rock.
implies something else. Adult
Soft
oriented.
rock. See, you know, Air Supply, soft rock.
Yeah.
Bread, soft rock.
Ugh.
It makes it sound insipid. Now, the one that really got me, and I love the music, and that's pub rock.
Oh, now. I think we might have to agree to disagree on that, because just at the moment, I'm getting more and more into pub rock.
Pub rock. Okay, what would you describe as pub rock? Which band? Which acts? Which artists?
Right, the band that one of us mispronounces, Michael, Brinsley Schwartz.
You know, I don't even think I've heard them. I really should. They got nowhere.
Yeah.
See, what Williams
But, yeah.
It's pronounced.
Yeah, but it's not spelled like that.
Schwartz.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. There's not.
Pub rocker for dinosaurs.
This is. That is true, is it? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Nick Lowe, yeah. I mean, you know, Nick Lowe, Dave Edmonds, you know, brilliant stuff, you know.
Dr.
Feelgood, yeah.
Dr. Feelgood apparently were the figureheads of pub rock.
Yeah. But there's, you know, it's good stuff, and it's kind of that transition from sort of rock and roll to punk, really. Thank you, Simon.
That was so underhanded.
Yeah. And it was very much a sort of London phenomenon as well. You know, there's sort of, you know, there were venues around London that, you know, these bands would play in, and they were pubs. Yeah. A prelude to punk rock. Yeah. And, you know, Stiff Records are really a sort of a link between, you know, pub rock and punk, and particularly one of the founders, a guy called Dave Robinson. And he set up his own little studio. So he bought a whole load of secondhand recording equipment, and I can't remember which studio he got it from, but they were throwing their stuff out, you know, to get new ones. And so he got it really quickly, and he installed it in the upstairs room at the Hope and Anchor in Islington. And the Hope and Anchor is a sort of, you know, really, you know, iconic venue for sort of like pop rock and later sort of punk. And he recorded, you know, all sorts of people, and you know, Elvis Costello's first sort of recordings, not recordings that were actually, you know, on his albums, were done by Robinson in the upstairs at the Hope and Anchor. You know, there's some Nick Lowe stuff as well. So so you know, I think pub rock is really quite important in, you know, particularly in the history of sort of British rock. Yeah, yeah. I think, Dave, probably all Australian music is pub rock, isn't it?
Yeah. Christoph says, no one the age of 60 likes Dave Edmunds and Nick Lowe. I love them.
Yeah.
So that's studio. I'm sorry. One question. That studio, how were the acoustics very good in there? I know it's kind of a dumb question, or was it just were there records produced completely out of that studio?
No, records were not produced at the Hope and Anchor.
So it was just like a practice. It was a way to get something on tape and to show it to other labels.
Not really. No. It was more of a sort of the idea was to try and sort of build up a stable of artists and
refine them.
It was people because Jake Riviera, the other guy, that Robinson's sort of partner. I mean, both of them were very much into the sort of London sort of pub rock in the sort of very broad sense. The small clubs and pubs around sort of London, and lots of people were involved. In that sort of music, and particularly people like Elvis Costello.
Mm-hmm.
But it's quite an interesting time. But Robinson and Rivera sort of had this sort of idea that they wanted a record label, and they seemed to go about it in a very sort of a very haphazard way.
Gotcha.
And it was more, the idea was that the big record labels, the companies were not serving the music industry very well. Right. They were promoting, the acts that they'd had on their books for years and years.
Right.
And it was very difficult for other acts to get sort of a way into, sort of recording, and Stiff Records was sort of set up in order to do that. And of course, one of the is Iain Jury, of course. And Kilburn and the High Roads were were playing around the pubs in London at the time. That sort of circuit. So where sort of people like Elvis Costello were playing, Tyler Gang, another pub rock band, and Kilburn and the High Roads were sort of completely sort of like haphazard, apparently. In their sort of very chaotic band. And there's a quote from Reckless Eric, and he went to see Kilburn and the High Roads, and he described them as a bunch of misfits. He said they look like a bunch of misfits who probably lived in an institution somewhere. And he said, but he absolutely loved them, and it was his. It was really his encounter with Iain Jury and Kilburn and the High Roads that sort of made him sort of want to record himself. So pop rock, that kind of that sort of era, sort of like from the sort of like the early 70s, sort of, onwards. It's very important, in the history of punk rock in the UK. So Nick say that New Rose was the video was filmed at Hope and Anchor. Yeah.
And One Step Beyond.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, one step beyond on it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In a way, would you describe pop rock as an entry point for new bands? Because it was the only way that they could really sort of get onto the scene and eventually get noticed by A&R men who'd go around the various pubs and clubs?
No, it was, according to, according to the Stiff Records guys, you know, they were saying it's the complete opposite. That the A&R people weren't interested. They weren't looking for talent. But
because there were so many bands who started up playing at their local pub, local club, you know, the local
that's right.
club or whatever.
Yeah,
because they couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah, but very, very, you know, very. You know, I mean, there's, you know, there were other record labels as well that were doing a similar sort of thing at the same time.
Who else? Who
like Chiswick, one of the, you know, one that sort of comes to mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been one of the Robin.
That's a lie, Nick. You know it. You know. I can't remember what the correct answer was to that question. But
What was the guy that used to do those the soft porn ones? Robin
Asquith.
Robin Asquith.
God,
yeah. Yeah, Confessions of, isn't that?
Yes, yeah, Confessions of a Window Cleaner and this, that, and
yes.
Yeah. See, the Sculpture, they were probably one of the, you know, that was Dave Edmunds' first real band, wasn't it? Love Sculpture.
Yeah.
I've noticed, Mike, as well, when you go through like Nick Lowe albums, look on who plays on it, they all play on each other's records somewhere, or they write each other a song, don't they? I mean, there's so many records, Nick Lowe, the writing's credited to Declan McManus, and on Dave Edmunds' albums. I mean, well, we all know it's Elvis Costello, but he wrote a lot of songs, and they sort of helped each other out, didn't they? Producing. They were sort of a very close-knit community, weren't they?
Well, that's right. I mean, Dave Edmunds and Nick Lowe were very, very close friends. You know, so you know, there's a lot of stuff, you know, that sort of Nick Lowe penned sort of songs, sung by Dave Edmunds. But there was a lot of that, and you know, the Stiff Records tour in the first one in 1977. Again, it was very sort of chaotic, and you got sort of Dave Edmunds was playing with Nick Lowe, and the band were called The Last Chicken in the Shop, I think. And you know, every night, you know, the musicians would sort of like they would crop up on stage with each other's you know, and each other's sets. You know, they each had sort of about, you know, 20 30 minutes or so, and you know, so you get people, and there was, you know, Larry Wallace, you know, who was in Pink Fairies, and also very briefly in Motorhead, I think.
Yes, very early days.
Yeah, and he had one hit on, or it wasn't a hit. It was a hit because the early Stiff sort of singles, none of them were hits, but it was an indie hit. It was popular with those who knew about it, and that was Larry Wallace's song "Police Car." And you know, it's become a bit of an anthem, and there's quite a few covers of it, sort of, you know, floating around. And you know, Larry Wallace, I think, was playing in the same band with Nick Lowe, and then Nick Lowe was playing when Larry Wallace had his turn on the tour. And the only people where there wasn't a sort of crossover was between Iain Dury and the Blockheads and Elvis Costello, because they were deadly rivals. Because what has happened is that the Jake Riviera had sort of, before the tour sort of started, had said that he was leaving Stiff Records, and he was taking some of the acts with him. Not that they had many at the time, But he was taking Elvis Costello.
He was poaching.
Well, he was. I think he was managing Elvis Costello at the time. So he kind of had a right to do that. But when it came to the Stiff tour, that the bands, initially they were going to alternate every night. That there were 4 or 5 bands, and they would take it in turns to go on first, go on last, all stations in between. But Elvis Costello was the act that Stiff were thinking, that was the act that they thought, that's going somewhere. Elvis Costello and the Attractions. And Costello, Iain, I don't know why he did this, but apparently on the first leg of the Stiff tour, instead of playing the tracks off of My Aim Is True, which was his first and only album at the time, he decided to play a whole load of new stuff, and the audience weren't happy about that he just wouldn't play the Stiff stuff, and this was all, I think, related to the fact that he was off very soon. He was going to Radar with Jake, and
He was testing out new material.
Yeah, and to make matters worse for Costello, the reviews of the first Stiff live Stiffs gig was all about Ian Dury. That he really, he was the one. He was the one that got the crowd going.
Mm. Well, he played the songs that they knew.
Yeah,
it really came down. Is that simple?
Well, they didn't really know Ian Dury. They knew Costello.
Oh.
And of course they knew Dave Edmunds, but they knew Nick Lowe, and I don't think Nick was really that interested in playing that sort of game, but certainly apparently Ian Dury and Elvis Costello were vying to be sort of top dogs on the tour. So very quickly they decided that they would change the policy of alternating the running order completely every night, and so they had sort of Ian Dury would do the finale one night, and Costello would do it the next night, and that kind of worked, except sort of like somewhere along the line. It was decided that the gigs would end with sex and drugs and rock and roll, and everyone would come on stage. And so, this meant that, Blockheads were on stage at the end. It was their song. And again, Costello's not very happy about it. And there was the sort of tour was filmed, and it's intended to be released as a film, but I think, I know it's available. The film is available somewhere on YouTube, and at the very end of the film, there's a bit where they're doing sex and drugs and rock and roll in the sort of on the final date of the tour, and Costello wouldn't come on stage to start with. Yeah. Yeah, I think Nick's got it right. Yeah. So, and he finally came on, and everyone was singing along to "Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll," and Costello was standing there with his arms folded. So
There's lots of egos involved, isn't there?
I mean, yeah, there always is. They always said
that. Some of the rock bands, and it just ended up. There was a huge argument. I think it was at Woodstock. Certain people wouldn't go on before, and good grief!
yeah. But they always said that Ian Dury was quite difficult to get on with. Apparently.
Yeah, a bit like Richie Blackmore.
Yeah, but the guy was a genius. Yeah, so basically,
Williams by Elvis and didn't get on. But Elvis also didn't like
Did you see this? This is an interesting point. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Why James Brown?
I don't know, how can you not? He was just the king of soul. He was the man.
Yeah.
I mean, you going back to playing a different set of songs. I mean, Iron Maiden made a mistake like this. They went out on tour before they released In a Matter of Life and Death. So they played all these new songs and people just go, huh?
Yeah.
But by the time they got to the UK, the album had released. But it's not a clever thing. I mean, the only band I went to see, but they announced that they were going to play new stuff. And that's when Miss Marillion first played Misplaced Childhood. I mean, the Hammersmith Odeon was packed to the rafters just because they were going to play some new material, because it was the way that it was promoted. I mean, this was in the days before social media, sounds, NME, all the music. I mean, Mick Wall, who was a huge fan of Marillion, it was him that got the buzz going, and it just filtered up, and then everyone went down to watch them play the first side of Misplaced Childhood. That worked. If you don't promote it, or not little snippets or something, but going out and just playing new stuff at a gig, it's nice to hear one or two new songs.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, I like to hear classics. I mean, you want a song the first song, it's got to be one of their big hits. Everyone gets up and sets the tone, and then 3 songs in, you go hello, and here's a song off the new album. That's how you do it. You don't go on and play a track that
Exactly. But I think that Costello was playing a game though, on that tour. Yeah.
I know that one.
Well, there seems to be a long list of sort of, or 2 lists. People who don't like Elvis Costello and people that Elvis Costello doesn't like.
Yeah,
but he was one of those artists, and you never saw him smile.
Yeah. Always dour.
Yeah.
And it's a bit. I mean, I know. He's just sadly passed away. But John Sykes, the guitarist, was probably one of the hardest people to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like Yngwie Malmsteen. He ended up on his last albums playing everything and singing because no one would work with him.
Yeah. It becomes counterproductive in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
But I mean, despite all this stuff about we've been quite negative stuff about Elvis Costello, I still think the guy's a genius, and his early albums are absolutely brilliant. For about the first 4 or 5 albums, he could do no wrong. I think later on, things started to go a bit pear-shaped as far as I was concerned, but the early stuff is just brilliant.
It is. I mean, but then he did write some great songs for other people, didn't he? As well, he's a terrific songwriter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, relations. Shall we?
I haven't been able to find any because they're at a level that I can't. I know.
Your own wheel.
I can't. I know where my records are. Most of the ones I want are in the lower thing, and I can't get down on my hands and knees.
So should we just defer to another?
We'll defer it to when I can actually get the records I want to show.
Okay. I'll pull them out a third time.
Yeah.
I forgot to put that in the thing when I emailed you guys. I do apologize.
Yeah. Yes, I was wondering about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't.
Get mobility. Yeah, I get it.
It's poor old Rocky to Groove. I have to entice him up onto my bed, up his steps. He's just looking at me, going, "What are we doing here for?"
Right.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh, why don't you tell them the story about the kitchen?
What about the kitchen? Oh yeah, all my stuff like my steamer and everything's on top of the fridge.
Oh,
The air fryer. I had to get my neighbour to come round and take them.
Oh dear.
you need one of those extension rods with the trigger and the.
Yeah, I've got to get a grabber. I'm serious. I'm falling apart.
I bet.
Yeah, that's what you need, mate. Yeah.
Rocky
I
Ball.
changed the vibe.
That's all right, Nick. Don't worry. We're not showing anything tonight.
No, because the host can't get the record.
Yeah.
Oh no, what am I going to do?
Yeah, there you go. Have Rocky pull them out for you. Grab that one.
Grab that one, Rocky. Right, I won't be a minute, but I am going off screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So when's your Ned's video coming out then?
Tonight. Tonight. So what time is it now?
9:20 at night.
13 hours. 13 hours. I'm gonna do my first preview. I've never done that before. You know, we have the countdown.
Yeah.
I'll join the audience, you know, like the director. Welcome everybody. And if Stunty is in the audience, I think Stunty, you will like this video very much.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. Well, I've had
great in his
I've had a little preview, haven't I? So yeah.
He was
Yeah,
interesting.
I think
really a pleasure.
It's going to be what, in 13 hours time, or
9 o'clock my time.
PM.
I can actually show you something because I knew these were where they should be. Arms reach.
20 now.
Go on.
6:20 in the
AM.
Well,
look at that.
That's from Simon. Yeah, wonderful album. On the Fontana. And you remember on our one of Nick's questions in the tag, someone scribbles a name on them.
Yes.
Yeah, go on. Oh, yeah. There you go.
MC West.
Yeah.
I mean, this is in wonderful condition. I mean, for how old it is, I mean, look.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, it's
yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
Beautiful album. It's got some really nice songs on it. I'm really getting into me Joan again. And this is the other one you said.
Yeah.
Number 5. And once again, it's got a name on it, Kevin.
Yeah. So I don't really know much about Joan Baez's discography. So that's Joan Baez 5. I mean, is that a studio album that she just called 5 because they couldn't think of a title for it?
Yeah, this goes back to what year is it?
1964.
Yeah.
These are really early albums. They're very simple as well. It's like simple guitar and her singing. You know, it's folky sort of stuff. It's really nice.
Yeah. So it's not. They're not sort of compilations. Then they were.
No.
They were studio albums.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh right. Yeah.
She numbered. Yeah. She numbered. It's funny. She numbered her second album 2 and her third album 5.
Weird, because it was the third studio album, but it was her 5th solo.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's a bit like Traveling Wilburys. Their second album was called Volume 3. And they only released 2. And they said to George Harrison, why have you called it Volume 3? And he said, because we can.
Yeah, why not? Gotta be cool.
Richard. Nice, he's had a rebrand, isn't he? When did it come up? Richard's Vinyl Tap House. Who the hell's that? And then I realised it was Richard.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know if you like her, Mike.
Sorry?
I'd be curious to know if you like her, Joan Baez.
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've not got a lot of her stuff. In fact, I think I've only got about one album But I first became aware of her through a film, and it was Soldier Blue, and she did the title track, didn't she? Yeah, and I think that was the first Joan Baez that I'd actually heard. I mean, it could be wrong, but
I mean, I first discovered her when I brought Judas Priest, Sin After Sin, because it's got Diamonds and Dust, and the cover song. And I thought, I like this song, and I went to find the original, and I just went into the record store, and I just went, I'm looking for a song called Diamonds and Rust by Joan Baez. And the black went, oh, Joan Baez. Oh, yeah. This is, I said, do you want to buy it? I went, no. He said, well, I can put it on for you. And I thought, wow, this is so different from Rob Halford singing it. The Rob Judas Priest is, it's a lovely ballad, but I fell in love with the original.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, when I was able to afford things more better, I went and brought a CD of her, and I love her. I love her thing.
Yeah.
I've got these 2 EPs, and there's like a gospel song she does, and it's wonderful with a proper gospel choir. I can't say the EPs because I can't reach them. They're too high.
Yeah.
I can't go high.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think I've only got one album by her, and it's a compilation. And I think it's one of these sort of cheap at the time sort of compilations, that Golden Hour, I think they were called, the sort of series of sort of cheap albums that you could get back in the sort of 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, I mean, I've got that. I bought that the first 10 years. And that's a compilation. Yeah. If you ever see that, Mike, that is a good one to get, because it's really good. I just think she's super.
Yeah, but you kind of, I mean, maybe it's a bit different nowadays, because you can get everything on the internet, and you can sit on, sit in your living room and sort of scroll through stuff and find new music. But back before sort of internet and everything, that there used to be this sort of thing where you discover stuff by association. So if there's somebody you like, and then another artist is then sort of associated with them, you kind of think, I wonder what they're like, and you kind of, things sort of spread out, and you say, and when I discovered Lou Reed via via David Bowie and Mick Ronson. I can remember I was in a record shop with my mate, and we saw sort of Transformer, and my mate noticed that Mick Ronson was playing guitar, so we thought, let's give it a listen, and that's how I discovered Lou Reed. I mean, it turns out that I think Transformer is its best album by far.
Yeah. Well, it's credibility, right? If Mick Ronson lends his name to an effort, then you're going to give it credence, because you respect Mick Ronson. That's
Yeah.
I talking of Mick Ronson, I read an article a couple of weeks ago, and I can't remember who wrote it, but they were saying that Mick Ronson never got the credit he deserved during the 70s.
With what work?
Just because his entire guitar playing, he was never. They were saying he got a lot of praise, but he didn't get enough praise.
Okay.
The other guitarists at the time, that Mick Ronson was far better.
Oh.
Yeah. One of the music, I can't remember which one now, but it was very, very interesting.
Yeah. Hey.
Hello, Nick.
How you doing?
Yeah, Nick.
All right, let me put the lights on.
Okay.
Yeah, but going back, when we had to say, it's like I discovered a band called Pink Cream 69. Their singer, Andy Derry, became the singer of Halloween. And it says Pink 69. I thought, well, I've never heard of these. So you go and listen and go, whoa, yeah, pretty good. But that was back in the day when new people come into bands. The only way you could do it was physically go and asking. But I can't see record shops these days. And when you just put that on for me so I can listen to it,
Yeah.
And they say no, they refuse.
Some of the younger ones do.
They don't want to open it up. They don't want to open it up because if they break the seal, then it's a used record. That's really what it comes down to. And they probably don't get samples from the record labels anymore.
No, you don't.
Because they're so expensive.
Quality of them Steel Ice bands, spot on.
Oh, jolly good.
Yeah, play lovely. No crackles, no. Someone had looked after them.
Well, it looked like the bloke who was selling them had cleaned them, but it didn't look as if he did a brilliant job. But
I always give them. I gave them. I mean, literally, as you were going out, I got them out and got the cleaning fluid on it, and then played them, let them dry off naturally, and then played it the next day, and they sound great.
Yeah,
that one's super. That live one's really good. I mean, I've seen them live in later days, but I would have loved to have seen them back in there.
Yeah. They were one of the first bands that I saw, and Martin Carthy was in the band when I saw. Yeah,
it sounded interesting. So I thought you'd like it. The other one I have heard of, but I've never listened to a single studio album by them. I've seen the odd footage of them in concert. But yeah, that's about my limit on Steel Ice Span.
yeah.
They're like Fairport Convention. No,
I've heard of them, but I honestly couldn't tell you anything they've sung.
Would you concur, Mike? They're like Fairport Convention, or no?
They're as bands. I mean, Steel Ice Span and Fairport Convention are they're contemporaries. They were doing the same sort of thing at the same sort of time,
and Pentangle
in the same venues, And I don't know. I think on balance, I wouldn't say I prefer Steel Ice Span, but I think Steel Ice Span were more fun to watch, to go and see. And
as performers,
yeah, but I think there's more depth to Fairport Convention, and Fairport Convention are more of a, the better sort of like, songwriters, and I mean they've had people like Richard Thompson in the band, of course,
Right.
And they, as I say, they've got that sort of depth to them that Steel Ice Span maybe don't have. They're sort of very much, I think, into the the kind of catalogue of English folk music and just playing it on electric instruments. But, I mean,
I don't really know them that well. I know that's all around my hat.
Yeah.
I know it's Maddie Pryor, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I concur, really. They're a good sort of, although it's not my sort of scene, good sort of fun type music.
Yeah.
Folk
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
By the time doing stuff like All Around My Hat, so albums like Now We Are Six, sort of like later albums, they were beginning to get a lot of sort of mainstream popularity then, and they became almost a sort of pop band.
Did they hail from Canterbury?
Did they what?
Hail from Canterbury?
No.
No. Okay.
No, from all over, but I think places like Oxfordshire, sort of the kind of rural sort of like middle of the country. But
Gotcha.
I mean, they're from all over. They're certainly not a sort of a Canterbury band at all or anything like that.
No, they're for what we now call the M40 corridor, aren't they?
Yeah. I suppose that's I mean, Fairport are definitely from that area, and of course, Croppedy is in Oxfordshire, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's really their kind of Fairport sort of spiritual home, I suppose. And they've done their various reunion concerts there. But yeah, I mean, what about Pentangle? The other great sort of electric folk band of that sort of time, maybe slightly earlier.
They came before Brinsley Schwarz and Steel Eye Span. I'm sorry, they came before Steel Eye Span.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sort of late 60s. So I mean, Bert Jench and John Remborn are the two, the two big names there. Yeah, of course, Pulsar. Yeah, Sandy Denny.
Mm-hmm.
I never ever got to see Sandy Denny, and that's a regret. I never saw a Fairport convention at that sort of that stage, which is their best, isn't it? I mean, Legion Leaf is a fantastic album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're on the list to do Fairport conventions. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. I think you'll probably find if you rank them, it will be their first 6 or 7 albums will be the ones that will be up there.
That's a bit like when I did Steel Eye Span.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the ones that everybody loves. I mean, some of the later ones are pretty good. But
yeah.
I mean, Fairport will be a 2-parter, 29 albums.
Wow, that many. Oh, well, they're still doing it, aren't they? They're still.
Yeah, so
going.
The number might go up.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah. And anyway, Nick, I was reading some stuff about, mainly about sort of Stiff Records, but the Damned, and their second album on Stiff, Music for Pleasure. The album that it's the album that sort of people tend not to like very much, isn't it? But I think it's pretty good. Apart from the cover, which looks like some sort of psychedelic jazz album.
Oh, I don't understand the cover.
No. But I was reading that what they did is that when they were sort of that they've been touring, they've been basically forced to sort of tour non-stop, and it's why they're not on the live Stiffs tour, because they were touring in their own right all over the place, and they weren't getting any opportunity to write music apparently, and all of a sudden sort of Stiffs say, "Oh, we want an album off you," and they didn't really have anything. So
who was the main writer for them? Was it Banian and Captain Sensible, or did they all? Well, mind you, I can't see Rat Scabies writing anything.
No, I don't think Rat Scabies.
Right.
Yeah. It was what's his name?
Possibly.
James. Yeah. But apparently they were asked to sort of do an album, so they said, sort of like, who do you want? What do you want to do? So they said, and they said that they wanted Syd Barrett to produce the album.
Oh, bloody hell!
Yeah, and at that time, Syd Barrett was in a really bad way. His mental health had just gone completely, and his brother was his carer basically, and said, "Look, you won't get anything sensible out of him." So apparently they said, "Well, how about one of the others? How about Nick Mason?" And Nick Mason said, yeah. And they got to record it in Pink Floyd's own sort of studio. But apparently Nick Mason knew absolutely nothing about producing records.
Which record was this? Their second one or third?
Second one, Music for Pleasure.
It's some jacket art.
Yeah.
I've never seen. You're right. It looks like a jazz record.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it should be in a punk.
No. I mean, you wouldn't. If you didn't know, you'd get a shock, couldn't you? If you got that album out the cover, not knowing what it was, and put it on the turntable.
I remember me phoning you when I did the sophomore thing, didn't I, Mike? Because there were so many different colours. I had to ring which one it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a piss tank, didn't
I? Yeah. That's right. Yes, I remember now. Yeah.
I got that one from up in Leeds, didn't I? Jumbo.
Oh, you did? Yeah. I remember. Yeah. It's the first time we were up, wasn't it? Yeah.
I can honestly say, I don't think I've ever listened to a bad album by the Damned. The odd single is a bit, but the albums I've always got on with.
Yeah.
I mean, the album's great. I mean, but the album doesn't fit the cover, does it?
Yeah.
No, and yet it's the total opposite with the Clash.
Oh yeah.
But well, except for the first album. The first album's I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But
do you think though that maybe, when it came to sort of fame, that somehow the Damned sort of missed out a little bit, and at the time, I think they were kind of eclipsed by the Clash a little bit, weren't they?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Publicity.
But I think they had and they probably still have a bit of a cult following,
Yeah. But it seemed that it took a while for sort of like the great British public to sort of catch up with them, really.
Yeah. They had a bit of a comeback, didn't they, with Eloise?
Yeah. That's on Phantasmagoria, isn't it?
I went to. I saw the tour. The tour was brilliant. I mean, the first concerts at Derngate, Nick, the Damned.
Yeah.
And second acts to ever play at the Derngate. I never invited back though.
I don't think appearing on the Young Ones did them any harm either.
No,
definitely not.
It's a good way of getting publicity.
Yeah.
And then they played at that Liverpool dock gig as well, didn't they? I know they were mining, but that would have done them any. They did Eloise on that, and I think that did them a lot of good. Prime time TV. Yeah. But then again, Status Quo did Res Sky on it as well. So
and you were doing so well doing so well, Ian.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And then he had to mention that band, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm bringing it back because this Tuesday, Nick, I'm ranking the Cramps albums.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I need to make a list of which ones I need. Okay, I've got to stop going to like record fairs and shops and all that, and acting like a kid in a sweet shop. I'll have this, I'll have that. I've got to be a bit more
strategic.
Strategic. That's a good word. Yeah, strategic, and think. What do I need to complete sort of little collections, and so I'm busy making a list of what Slade albums I need. I think I only need about 4 or 5 Damned albums.
Yeah.
And Ian Jury, I've got to get that. Oh, that is my main thing, to get Ian Jury sorted this year.
So what do you need?
Oof. I think there's a couple of live albums, although they're not really needed, but it's nice to have them.
Yeah.
I need 4 more of the do-it-yourself ones, and then I've got the whole lot. And I need 1 more of a studio album. But I'll get them. I'll find them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need 1 more album to complete the Trojan Tighten Up series.
Oh.
And I've seen somebody else in the VC, a British person in the VC. They've got it.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to get hold of a copy of Frankenchrist by the Dead Kennedys with the Rude poster in it.
It's hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I know somebody else in the VC who's got it.
Who that?
Harris Pilton.
Is he?
Oh, really?
But I think he's a bit reluctant to sell it to me.
I don't think.
Yeah. We could go around there and sort him out.
Yeah, I'll go down Southampton and sniff him out and
Yeah.
give him a damn good levering.
Yeah.
No,
If you're watching Harris, I'm sure he won't.
no, well, he's a good. I love Harris. He makes me crack up with laughter. He does.
I know.
See, yeah, for my birthday, I've already said I'm going to treat myself to a Japanese copy of Quadrophenia with the Obi strip.
All right.
And all that. So yeah, the old sort of vinyl New Year's resolutions and all that. I was trying to go through January without buying a single record. Dry January. And then I went over to this Antiques Retro Emporium in Northampton.
Yeah.
And it went straight out the fucking window. That
Do you get some good stuff?
I did. I went flicking through the sort of cheap bin. Found those 2 Steel Eye Span ones. I picked up a couple for myself out there. What did I get? Oh Christ, I can't remember. One of them was, I'm sure I've seen somebody else in the VC who's got it. Magic Roundabout.
Ah.
I think it's like I think it's was there a film?
Google and the Blue Cat.
Yeah.
I think it might be that. I'm not sure. I haven't played it yet.
My brother had that is scary.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely brilliant.
BBC TV sporting themes.
Yeah, my dad had that.
I've been really sort of enjoying myself. I didn't look at the back cover. I've been sort of playing it and listening to it and trying to guess the programs.
Oh yeah, that's good fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And I picked up a couple of 12-inch singles by the Beat, which I hadn't got. The good things with 12-inch singles by the Beat, they often did sort of mixes. It's not just like original versions of the single you get in a 7-inch. They did mixes, which is good.
Yeah.
And I also came across an original copy of the Liquidator album.
Wow.
In Northampton? Jeez.
Yeah.
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 A good price.
Good price. Well, I'll tell you, it was 25 quid.
Well,
It's an OG.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's mint. It's VG plus. It's got the original price sticker on the front sleeve.
All right.
And did I need it? No, because I've already got a reissue of it.
Right. Yeah.
But I'll give I've got somebody in mind for the reissue.
Right.
Mike.
Oh yeah. I was hoping you were going to say that. Yeah.
So I don't know if Ian's told you. We'll be up in March.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, the record fair. Well, the February one is a week on Saturday, and it'll be bloody cool.
Glad as well. I need to get myself fit, a lot fitter.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. You don't want to be, suffering, do you? And I find, I find now if I've been there about an hour or so, I want to sit down,
Yeah, and have you got in your stiff 7-inch singles collection? Have you got Return of Lost Palmer 7 Madness?
I don't think I have.
The one with the cartoon sleeve.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I haven't got that one, Nick.
Well, I'll bring it up anyway because I brought it thinking I didn't have it.
Yeah.
Although I do have it in my main Madness collection, but I brought the same stiff records to go in a stiff collection. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise I'd already done it and brought it, so that's going spare.
Oh right, lovely. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I picked up at Northampton.
Brilliant.
And I also picked up a 35 quid fine for driving in a bus lane in the town.
Yeah.
In the city centre and all bastards.
I know. It's bad. But you were saying, Nick, that you sometimes find it difficult to remember what you've got and what you haven't got. I find that when I'm reg fair, particularly with singles, I can never remember exactly what singles I've got.
Yeah. That's why everything I've got is on Discogs.
Yeah.
I put it on as soon as I buy the stuff, I'll get it home, I'll play it, put it in a clean sleeve or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I put it on Discogs. Albums I'm shit hot on. I know what I've got and I know what I haven't got.
Yeah.
Singles.
Yeah. It's always the singles I can't remember. But I don't. I've not used sort of Discogs, to catalogue my records, and
you don't have to be.
A
you don't
difficult
have
task.
to be too sort of pernickety about it.
Oh no, I'm not bothered about what pressing it is and all that, it's just having it on there, to know what I've got and what I haven't got. Maybe I should do that. Start with singles on.
Yeah, it's a great help. You got the everybody's more or less got a mobile phone now, haven't they?
Yeah.
And you carry it around with you. You're at the record fair or a charity shop or whatever. You come across the records. You just take the thing out your pocket and flick through your Discog stuff, and that way you're not wasting money.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all got the technology, and admittedly, I'm a bit of a Luddite, but we've got the technology to use it.
There you go. Hello, Angel.
Yes. Right now.
Yeah, it's a good album. Yeah.
I mean, my priority now is to finish the Steel span that I want.
Yeah.
That is my priority.
Yeah. So you must be down to about 2 or 3 now.
I'll soon tell you. There can't be too many I don't need now.
I used to see a lot of them at the car boot sales.
Yeah.
And if I see one, I'll give you a buzz or whatever. And have you got this one?
I'll send you a list of what I have got, so you think.
Yeah.
Right, I need Hark the Village Wait.
Yeah.
Please send me the King. You've got
the King, yeah.
you've got that copy of 10 Man Mop.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So it's just the first two then. Please to See the King and Hark the Village Wait.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so I'm nearly there. But I might get some of the Live at Last is the only one of the sort of original band. Well, there's one at Live at the Leicester Hall in 1977 and Live at the Rainbow Theatre. England Steel Ice Span 72-83. That might be worth getting.
That live one I picked up for you sounded quite intriguing, actually.
Oh God, it is. It's a very good.
I wouldn't have thought it'd be an album you'd see every day.
No, I've never seen that one.
No.
A couple of times I've been up to Leeds. It's one there. I mean, it's got quite a lot of the early tracks on. I mean, I'll pull it up here. I mean, it's got the Maid and the Palmer, which is an older track. Montrose is on there, Hunting the Wren. The best track on it, though, is the False Night of the Road. Absolutely brilliant version of that.
Yeah.
And I used to see a load of Joan Baez albums as well.
Yeah, I think that's another person I'll be doing, and looking out for Laura Nyro as well. It's a lot of female artists for me this year.
I
really need to get, it's like I did that thing on Helen Reddy. I mean, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but another lady that could sing.
I've heard of her, but I wouldn't know anything about her music.
Angie Baby, isn't it?
That's
the only.
I Am Woman.
I Am Woman. Yeah.
The only thing I've got by her, the single, Angie Baby. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. That was the other single, wasn't it? That was another hit for her. But Laura Nyro, you just don't see her stuff.
No.
Laura Nyro's just not.
Yeah, I might just have to buy a seat.
Doesn't really register in the UK, does she?
Yeah, it's weird.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Anyway, chaps, I'm getting uncomfortable. So
okay.
It's time to say thank you. We haven't got what we're going to do. We don't. Has anyone got
the smile?
Well, I can grab something. I mean,
yeah, I've got my Joan Baez to show.
Smile.
Yeah.
Put up your hands. Oh, he's putting up. Oh, he's putting up some VCLT for me.
This is what I was going to show.
I've got some vouchers for McDonald's.
Teach your children.
Great stuff.
That's family.
3, 2, 1. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much for everyone coming in. It was lovely to see some new old faces.
Yes,
it really was. And thank you if you're still watching, William. Thank you for your excellent contribution tonight. You've made
great stuff.
And we'll see you all next week. I'll say for my everything breaks down. So have a good week, everyone. Bye for now.
Right, okay. See you then. Bye-bye.
Tatty bye.